Hello everyone, welcome to this next video on how to make button mapping in Scratch. Yes, I know the time's finally come. And in this episode today, we're going to be learning how to make button mapping. But before we do anything else, please remember some important stuff. And those important stuff are to like my projects, follow me on Scratch, and also like this video and subscribe. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we're going to start by going through an example. So this is my example project. So here I've created a scrolling platformer. You can just run, jump, and you have to collect all the coins and not miss it. But what some people might not know is when you press P, you can change your controls. So right now, jumping is with the up arrow. So when I jump, I need to press the up arrow to jump. But when I press P to pause, and then I change my up arrow to, I don't know, say W, then now instead of jumping with up, which doesn't work, I can jump with W. And this is kind of what button mapping is. It's basically changing the meanings of buttons so they have different meanings. And if you're a WAV guy, then you can change all these controls to um WAV keys, and they'll all work just fine. So so now I'm going to be showing you how to make button mapping. But if you want to do that, you're gonna need to have completed the cloned buttons tutorial and the the how to make keys press block tutorial. Anyway, so when you do that, then you can follow the next step. And the next step is by opening up your clone buttons tutorial, well, project. And I hope you listened when I said to create up, down, left, and right buttons. Because if you didn't, then you should probably do it now. As we're going to be using this project and the other project for this tutorial. So anyway, save the project, and then now we're going to save this as a copy, and we're going to call it button mapping. Alright, so for now, let's just sort out some scripts here. So we can move, so we can show this original sprite, and we can move it into the different positions of the buttons. So the up button, the down button, the left button, and the right button. So first, I'm going to focus on the up button, which will be in the middle up here. So go to X 0 in me equals 1, because since the up button is button number 1, then we're going to put that in me equals 1 because that's the first button. So anyway, the up button will be me equals 1, so go to X084. The down button is 0, but is me 2, as it shows here. The left button is me 3, and the right button is me 4, so just keep that in mind. So anyway, now we're going to set the X and Y positions. So for the left button, I'm going to set this to negative 84. For me equals 3, which is the left button, I'm going to set the X to minus 84 and the Y to 0. And for the right button, I'm going to set the X to 84. So now when you click the green flag, you'll see that all the buttons are correctly placed. Right, so now we're going to need to pop over to our other project that we made, the keys pressed block project. So just hop over there quickly. So once you hop over to the keys pressed block, we're going to need to backpack the sprite and put it in our backpack, as we're going to need it for later. And so then we're going to need to move back over to the other project, which is the button mapping project. So once you're back in your button mapping project, you're going to want to open your backpack. and take your sprite 1 sprite out and put it here. And just rename it keys pressed. And wait, to be honest, you don't really need to name it because we only need this one custom block. So just drag this here and then delete the sprite. Actually, don't delete it because it's got a handy scratch cat. You'll need him. So delete the keys pressed block from this sprite. Oh, I need to delete this first. And just rename it to player. And now we're going to code up some player scripts. So first off, we are going to just make some simple left, right, up, down scripts. So change X by and change Y by. And now we're going to create a new list. This will be used for later. Call it keys used for all sprites. And for testing purposes, just for now, make this up arrow of the first one, down arrow with the second one. For the third one, we're gonna have um we're gonna have the left arrow. So left arrow. And for number 4, we're gonna have right arrow. And make sure you do this in the same order of the buttons me things. So if your up button was last, then the up arrow has to also be last in the list. Anyway, now for some coding. So for now, we're going to change X by, and yes, it's this kind of script again. Arrow take away arrow times. So change X by, and on the right side, just put 6. And on the left side, since we're moving right arrow minus left arrow, in the list, it's item 4 minus item 3. So go to list and go to item 4 of keys used minus item 3 of keys used. And yes, this list has its own column here because this is part of Scratch add-ons, one of its very useful features. Anyway, so now we're going to duplicate this and put this in the change Y. And for this, we're going to change Y by item 1 of keys used minus item 2 of keys used. So then when you go to test that now, you're going to see that when you move the cat around, then oh wait, no, it's not going to work only because that doesn't mean anything. So what I forgot to do is we were meant to get a keys block and put this in here. So key item 4 minus key item 3. And when you test that, that's all going to work well and good. So here, key item 1 of keys used pressed minus key item 2 of keys used pressed, and just replace this with this. And this is a long script, so I'm going to give you a few seconds just to look at it properly. There. Okay. So now when you go to test that, you will see that the cat is moving around, and that is cool. Anyway, so next we're going to be creating the button mapping. But before that, we're going to need to make it so these up, left, down, and right arrow buttons hide and show. So just for testing purposes, well, for now, just create a new variable, call it button map. Or you know what, just call it map for short for all sprites and press OK. So now we're going to do in the player sprite, actually do this in the backdrop just to make it better. When M key pressed, set map to and then go to operators and then get a 1, get a subtract block. In the left put a 1 and in the right put the map variable, and when you show the map variable, you'll see that when you press M, the map variable changes between 1 and 0. And if it doesn't, then you should probably get a block out and set your map to 0. That'll reset it. Anyway, so now we're gonna make it so it stops. So go into the cat sprite and do forever, and then get an if map equals 0. So when I'm not button mapping, and then I can just carry on doing what I'm doing. Not to mention, we should also reset the map variable to 0, just so that we aren't starting the game mapping. So when I move around, normally everything's fine, but when I press M, cat stops moving. But then we should also hide and show these buttons, just to make it, just to not annoy the player. So first things first, we should make the buttons go to the very front. So go to the buttons sprite, and when I started a clone, get a forever loop. And now grab an if else. Now if map equals 1, so I am button mapping, then I can show. Else I'll hide. So this will hide and show all the buttons. But we should also add a go to front layer and a go to back layer in the hide, just to make it so that, actually, you know what, just not to confuse the order of scripts, just add the go to front layer here. So now when you press M, it'll either show the cat or show the button. So you can either move the cat around normally or press M to stop the project, to stop the cat, and then you can change your button mapping. So now we're gonna be making it so that you can actually change your button mapping. So yeah, finally. So first let's make it so that you say hello. Actually, you know what? I think we need to move this forever loop to a new when I start as a clone. So get a new when I start as a clone, just to make it easier. And now under here, forever say item keys used, and then item me of keys used. So what this will do is when you stop the thing, then you'll see that this is saying up arrow, right arrow, down arrow, left arrow. But the left and down arrow are hidden. So let's just fix that quickly. And we're gonna do, actually, you know what? For now, just ignore it. And what you could do is you can move the left and down arrow to a different position. So show the button sprite and click on the button thing just to see where it is. Right, so this is the up. So this is the original sprite. So what I can do is I can move this to the left arrow position and see where it is. So -164. Alright, so I can set my new left arrow position to -164. And my new down arrow position to, well, I could just use the mouse X to -170. So the down arrow is -1, and I'm going to make it a bit higher, so -150. And this might look weird, but just bear with me for now. If you want, you can move the up arrow to be 150 and the right arrow to be 164, and that might fix the look, but you can change these positions later so it doesn't look so weird. Anyway, so now we're going to continue. So now these are saying they're different buttons, so now we're going to wait until touching mouse pointer and mouth down. And above that, we're going to add and wait until not mouse down and touching mouse pointer. But just to make these scripts even simpler, what you can do is you could remove the touching mouse pointer and just have the wait until mouse downs. Wait until not mouse down, and add them there. And these scripts are basically going to detect whether you click it or not. So, yeah. And I just want to quickly change my buttons because they look really weird. So, -120 and 20. So, now I want to go to test it out. Yeah, they should be in position like that. So, anyway, these are the clicking scripts. So first it's going to wait until I'm actually, the mouse is being clicked, but then it's going to check if I'm touching the mouse pointer. And for now, just delete this clone. So then when I click the green flag, then when I click a button, then it will instantly get deleted. And then eventually you delete all the buttons. So that's not what we want for now, but this is just what we have. So yeah. Anyway, so now we're going to do if touching mouse pointer, then we are going to add a repeat until, and then you're going to get a keys that is greater than blank. So repeat until this variable over here is greater than blank, and get the keys pressed. So now what you're going to do is, just to add an effect to the button, you could also set the brightness a bit higher, say about 30 or so, and then over in the forever here, set the brightness to 0, and also at the end of the repeat loop you can set the brightness back to 0. So this is basically going to try and see, it's going to be keep going around and around this script until eventually someone presses a key on their keyboard. And just to make things not weird, go to the keys. Oh yeah, so your keys list might be empty, so just go and refill it quickly.
2 hours later.
So now I fixed that. Since we've already using the M key for the button mapping, well, to turn the button mapping on and off, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to your keys list and see the letter M. You're just gonna delete it from your list. If you want to add it back in later, then you can by just adding it and then typing the letter M in. But for now, we're not gonna use it. So anyway, go back to your buttons sprite, and then once this has happened, you're going to replace, under the set brightness effect to 0, replace item 1 of keys used. And not, this isn't going to be item 1. This is going to be replace item me of keys used with a not thing, but the keys variable. So now when you try testing that, press M, and you'll see that there's 4 options. So click the up button. It's going to say 0 for now, and then when you click something, then it'll do something. And one thing I forgot to mention is that at the start of the project, well, when you're over here, just reset the keys to blank. So set brightness effect to 30, set keys to blank. Alright? Move it from this keys press script. And now when you try that, it'll be waiting for you to press a key and then press W, for example. Yes, and now it's saying W. But I'm also going to set the brightness effect to just 10 because it seems like, yeah, that works. So now when I click on it, then I press C, it says keys C. And when if I want to move up, I need to press C. So then I press M again, and boom! Instead of moving up, I'm moving up with the C key, which is so cool. I can't believe it's already working. But now for a few bug fixing. And the first bug is when I press the M key. What if I click the up? What if I click like say left, and then I press M? What'll happen? It'll be wait. Well, it'll go wrong. That's what'll happen. And then it's just going to reset to the left arrow. So we should try fixing that quickly, that bug. So yeah. And the first thing we need to do is probably we should reset the keys used list whenever we start the project. So go to the top of the button sprite and then just create a new my blocks and call it create keys used. Create keys used. But run without screen refresh. And we're just going to put it before the create buttons, create keys used. Alright. So now we go to this script and we're going to do define create keys used. And what we're going to do is we're going to delete all of the keys used list. And then now we're going to add some new items. So first we're going to add, so remember your order, up, down, left and right. So first we're going to add up arrow, so keys used. And next we're going to add down arrow. And then now we are going to add left arrow and right arrow. And so say if the down arrow, instead of it being costume number 2, it's costume number 4. Then what you'd do is you'd move the down arrow all the way to the bottom to be the 4th one, but it isn't costume 4. And yeah, also you're gonna have to change it from hashtag 2 to hashtag 4. Well, you should change it just to make it easier. Anyway, so now when you do this, it gets reset. So up, down, left, and right, do it. And even if you press M and change one of the buttons, like up to D, then it'll still get reset when you click the green flag. So that's a working. So anyway, now just to avoid, we're going to fix that glitch we had earlier. So of it pressing the button when it's not meant to. So now we're gonna do an repeat until keys is greater than blank, or and then we're gonna get or map equal. Oh wait, no, not map. Yeah, I keep clicking rename. I thought anyway, or map equals 0. So if it stops button mapping, and you're gonna put this here. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into control and go if, and then if map equals 1. So basically it's not going to replace the item with the new key press, which will cause a glitch, and it's just going to work normally. So now when you go to test that, press save and M. So now when I click the right arrow and then I press S, then it'll all work well and good. But if I click on it and then press M and then re-click M, yep, nothing's happened. It's all working well and fine. I can still use S to control it. And when I click the green flag, this will work all well and good. So now if you want to add this to your own games, what you could do is just leave this variable here, and you could also, if you wanted to, you could create a broadcast. So if, and then you could broadcast like mm, map, and then you could like add a when I Thief broadcast, stop the script to all the sprites you want to stop, and then that'll work. And so again, with this button mapping engine, you can do lots of cool stuff, and you can create games. For example, every 10 seconds, the controls change. So I could show you how to do that now. So with this so just ignore this sprite forever, and you could also remove this. And then what would happen is go into the backdrop, when green flag clicked, forever, wait 10 seconds. So every 10 seconds the controls change. So what you'd essentially do is you'd go to the button sprite, you could get this create keys used, drag this here, and then wait 10 seconds. You could add this here. And then now you could add to keys used. I go to list, item, and then go to the operators. And with this join block, just type random, Control A, Control C, and then go into this item of keys, item, and then Control V. And what this actually does is it picks a random item from the list, which is really cool. And I only found out this fact recently. So what I could do is I could duplicate this 4 times and then put this in here. And what this would essentially do is it would do random controls every second. So for now, my movement is going just fine. But then after 10 seconds, it's going to stop. And then I'm going to have to find out new movement. So A is my down key. And it's going to be really hard. The controls are going to keep changing. And if you want to cheat a little, you go to list and get a keys used block. So now Z is up. What the heck? Oh, I think I found a glitch. So in the keys list, scroll down a bit, and yeah, the item 43 is random gibberish. So just delete that, and then now it's gonna work. So I move around for a bit normally, and then eventually, yeah, space A, then there's exclamation mark and C. And well, you didn't, and this is really fun to play around with. And yeah, but like that doesn't really involve much button mapping, so that was just how to make its own thing. But button mapping is will be very useful in lots of stuff. So instead of having to create an if right arrow press or D key pressed for WAV's level, they can just press M, change their control, and boom! Now they're in WAV'd. And yeah. So this is the end of this tutorial now. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on Scratch. Turn on the notification bell on YouTube, and also like and save my Scratch projects. And for now, I'll see you next time. Yay!